Good morning, Miami. Welcome to the Women to Women show. I am your host, Cristina Hernandez, and with me today is Maggie Rodriguez.
Hi,
Hi, Maggie.
how are you?
Good. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Maggie owns and operates Inspired Events Miami, and you're an event planner and wedding planner and caterer.
Correct.
And tell me how you started with this business.
So I actually got started in about 2005 renting my house out for weddings.
Wow.
So I happened to live not too far from here, across the street from a church.
Uh-huh.
And I approached the priest and I said, hey, we have an acre property. It's really pretty. I would love to maybe have some of your couples celebrate their receptions on our property. And can I use your parking lot? Because parking is always one of those things that's really tricky, especially when it's a house.
Uh-huh.
And so we came up with something, and he started referring me clients, and that's how we got started. So originally it
Wow.
was just the venue,
Uh-huh.
and as you do this, you start realizing there's a lot of vendors out there that maybe are charging a little too much, or the clients weren't always happy with the catering side of it. So we started exploring options as to how can we kind of offer even a more complete service and get into the catering side. And for that, you need a commissary, because obviously the health department and the liquor, there's a lot of licenses and insurances involved. So we went ahead and we actually formed a partnership with an organization that had a venue in Coral Gables, and we started operating that as well. So one thing led to another, and I would say within the first maybe 5 years, we had three venues that we were working with, and we were already officially caterers.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's incredible. So you opened your house to a church?
to couples that were getting married at the church that were looking for a venue to have, and since it was literally across the street, it was it was easy.
So convenient.
Yes, very convenient.
And that's how Inspired Events was born.
Actually, that's how my first company was born.
Uh-huh.
Then fast forward, got divorced. My ex-husband bought me out of that one,
Uh-huh.
which my daughter now runs. I'm very proud of her.
Oh my
She
God.
does very well with, obviously not the house anymore, but they do continue with the venue.
Uh-huh.
So that's something that she continues to do. And then I started Inspired Events as an off-premise catering company. So we service a house or a museum. Say you're doing Vizcaya, Cruise Building, Curtis, any of these, Miami Beach Botanical Gardens, any of these venues that allow you to bring in off-premise catering.
Mhm.
That's where we would step in, and I almost say it's like a plug and play. You get the venue, we bring everything else to you. 'Cause
Uh-huh.
it's a little daunting for couples sometimes
Oh yeah.
to really feel like, I have this venue, what am I supposed to do now?
Yeah.
So that's where we step in and we hold your hand through the process, and we also bring all the services you need to make it happen.
I know I got married in the Keys,
Nice.
and we had to bring everything in. And if I had to have planned everything, like the restrooms, the floors, the band, the decorations, the flowers, I mean, I couldn't have done it myself.
Right.
And it was kind of like what you explained, plug and play. Thank God for you guys.
Yes. Because if you think about it, like for example, Vizcaya, how
Uh-huh.
beautiful is Vizcaya?
I mean,
So they tell you, okay, so here you go, you have the venue for 5 hours. Good luck.
yeah,
What do you do?
yeah,
And so that's where I often share with our clients, we bring everything down to salt and pepper shakers that are going on your table.
yeah.
Every little detail is taken care of. And you already have so much to deal with and so much on your mind prepping for that day,
Yeah,
that you don't need the added stress of everything else.
yeah. It's
Um,
thank God for people like
oh,
you. So this is really cool that you started this business. I can't imagine. I know what I do for my professional business. What has your business been like during COVID?
so obviously our industry has suffered tremendously.
I can only imagine. Yeah.
Because I feel like when it came to restaurants, for example, there was a lot of aid and a lot
Yeah.
of assistance, and rightfully so.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely they had access to a lot, and a lot of the
PPE
mandates
loans.
and everything were folk with them in mind, and they had the PPP loans and all of this, where as an off-premise caterer, all of a sudden our business was shut down completely.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, the cruise building that I work with a lot, they were closed for a year. So for 1 year, all of the weddings that we had scheduled, and knowing that, bride couples plan a year in advance.
Mm-hmm.
So we pretty much had a full schedule. And all of a sudden was like the rug was pulled out from below you, and there was nothing that you were at the mercy of so many different moving parts.
Mm-hmm.
So we definitely suffered a great deal. I also feel like there wasn't really a coordinated effort for our industry to have a voice.
Yeah, I never even thought about that.
Yeah.
No one.
We tried, and you try to pivot, right? So we
Mm-hmm.
started something called Grazing Boxes, and we created these
Mm.
boxes that we would deliver to your house. If you were having a small gathering with 10 people or less, which
Mm-hmm.
was what you were allowed to do, it was a cute way to kind of get together and maybe start getting your mind a little bit off of everything that was going on. We started doing daily meal delivery.
Mm-hmm.
But still, it wasn't even close to what
An
we're used
event.
to doing to an event.
Mm-hmm.
And again, when the events did start rolling in, every city pretty much had even its own rules and regulations.
Yeah.
And every venue, like for example, cruise building is City of Miami, where the Curtis Mansion is Village of Miami Springs.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody had their own rules. One is outdoor, one is indoor. So these couples could have their events, but these couldn't.
Yeah.
And it was so challenging to try to navigate
Yeah.
through everything. And then hotels were probably a little on the luckier side because they would be allowed to function at 50%, but 50% could be 300 people.
Yeah.
So they could kind of continue with a lot of their functions. And I think people forget the off-premise catering industry was probably the hardest hit
Yeah.
out of all the food related services and businesses,
Mm.
especially weddings.
Mm-hmm.
We turned to the virtual weddings, which were great. They're great celebrations. But in most virtual weddings, there's really no catering involved because
No.
it's two people.
Yeah.
So it's been a
A
very challenging time.
challenging. And then you're excited. Everyone's getting vaccinated.
Yes.
It seems like there's signs of hope. We're going to come back slowly but surely. And now the variant's here. We've got our partition back up here.
Yeah,
It's like you got to be safe again.
you do.
People are just, I think, also exhausted with all of this and still want to get together. It's like, where's the balance?
I definitely think people are exhausted.
Mhm.
I think we all went through the whole process of cabin fever for a long
Yeah.
time. And I honestly, I feel like one of the most frustrating things is there has been no cohesiveness
Mhm.
in all of this.
Yeah, consistent message across the board.
Absolutely. The
Mhm.
messaging has been, I think, poorly delivered
Mhm.
and poorly executed.
Mhm.
So it's very hard to even
Mhm.
know what's going on. And I think that's where a lot of this bitterness and resentment comes into play
Yeah.
because, oh my, why can this happen and this can't happen?
Right.
And how is it? And it just, it hasn't made sense.
Right.
And I just wish some organization, either governmental or non, got together and really
Yeah.
put something together that
Yeah.
everybody could follow and everybody could
be
understand and be
consistent.
consistent and sign up for.
Yeah. But you got weddings coming up though now.
We do. So interestingly enough, we're kind of sandwiching 3 years into
Mm.
kind of one because we have all the weddings that were rescheduled from last year, plus all the people that were planning to get married this year, plus then the people that are planning for next year. So in a 3 year period, we're essentially trying to sandwich a year and a half.
Wow.
So definitely I find that a lot of the couples are getting a little frustrated saying, I can't find a venue. The venues are all taken up. Everybody's busy. Yeah, we're condensing, and then we have production food
I was going to
shortages.
say, now the other thing you hear from the hotel industry and hospitality is the shortage of people.
You have people shortage and you have product shortage. So it's becoming
Yeah.
increasingly difficult to offer a quality product, quality service for a competitive price
Mm-hmm.
because all of a sudden, salaries are through the roof in order
Mhm.
to be competitive and try to bring in the good people and the right people to make it happen. And the food shortages,
Mm-hmm.
when chicken maybe was $2, maybe now you're paying 5.
Yes.
And
You've been hearing about this, the inflation of chicken.
absolute chicken, beef, all the commodities, the food. And so you have the challenge of, okay, this was a client that maybe booked you in 2019 for a 2020 wedding, is now doing a 2021 wedding, but you kind of are honoring 2019 prices, and you still have to make it happen.
You know what, Maggie, just hearing you talk right now, all the things that we hear about. And one, I am not a big person that sits in front of the news.
Okay, I'm not either. I try to stay away.
I hear little bits and pieces here and there, and I process it. We're all busy moms, busy people doing our thing. And it's like the one thing that is kind of seeping through that I've heard about is the inflation, shortage of staff. And it's just like those two major things are affecting, you're a small business.
Yes.
And that really, like, you are that person that it's affecting the most.
Absolutely. And it's challenging on so many levels. And like, for example, we have licenses that we get through the government for liquor, for catering. And you would think that knowing that, say, for a year we were unable to do anything, they would say, you know what, we're just going to bring it over to next year, or don't pay the fee. No, the fees continue, the rents continue, the kitchen, your staff, because you want to also be mindful that your staff, especially in an industry like mine where we work weekends, your staff becomes your family.
Yeah.
So everyone is very close to each other. And so you want to continue helping them along. There is just so much to juggle as a business owner, and as a woman, you're also a mom, a single mom.
Yeah.
Where my kids are older, but still you have a lot of pressures that you need to keep it all together.
Yeah.
And that's why I love to stress the importance of supporting local business, and especially female-owned businesses.
Yes.
Because I feel like we give so much to the community, and actually what I've heard a little bit on the news is that the female workforce has shrunk.
Yes.
Coming back.
Yes.
You have
because
the
we got to
kids
be
staying at home with school. I'm sure you know about that.
It's so hard.
So how do you go back to work?
Yes.
And manage that there's no daycare or that there's no school for them to go to. So the adaptation to this new era that we're living in today is definitely extremely challenging.
Yes.
And it's even more important to get the support of the community behind certain businesses, because at the end, so many people are going to get married, and we say in our industry, love isn't canceled. So or it might be reduced a little bit. It's not canceled because some couples made it through the pandemic and some didn't.
Yeah.
But we have to celebrate, and we have to look forward.
Yeah.
Staying in the past leads to stagnation, and that's not good. We need to look forward, and we need to plan ahead. And I think it's so important now more than ever that we come together as a community to make that happen.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's why I love doing this platform. I love supporting women in business. I'm passionate about that. It's like, how do we help each other get the word out and lift each other up? And that's why I do this. It's been like so satisfying for me. So congratulations to you for putting still one foot in front of the other and still doing it. On a happy note, I saw on your website that you were recognized as at Wired Wedding Wire.
The Wedding Wire Awards. Yes, I was nominated in one of their categories. I've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
So, yes, I was nominated for the planning category.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We're always trying to be innovative and try to kind of, like I mentioned, planning a wedding can be a very stressful event, right? You have not only you as a couple, but all the other moving parts, like your family, your new family, incorporating everyone into one.
Yep.
So we're always trying to find innovative ways to really help our clients.
Yeah.
Kind of make it as streamlined as possible and as stress-free as possible.
What is the one piece of advice, I guess, or like that you have for new brides when they come to you?
I always feel like they should just start with a priority list.
Yeah.
I think at least I'm a little old fashioned in that. And I love my iPhone and I love technology.
Yeah.
But I'm a very paper and pen kind of person. And I feel that when you write it down, you can kind of just sit there and be mindful with it and be a little more present in what you're trying to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
And it almost helps you become a little less stressful about it because you're seeing it like a task.
Mm-hmm.
So I say the first thing I ask my couples to do is to go into separate rooms, take a sheet of paper, and from 1 to 10, list what's most important to them for their wedding day. And I say to do it separately because sometimes we make assumptions. And it's interesting to see as you guys then merge those lists together, some of the top 3 might be what you both agree on, but they may not be. And so we need to start the compromising process early on. The earlier you do this,
so true,
the less stress you're going to be later on.
So
because
true.
the closer to the wedding day, the more the little things become a big thing.
Yes.
But if you're a year away, you can also plan for it. And you can kind of try to see, you know, for women or for brides, it's typically the florals, the decor. For the guys, it's usually the bar and the entertainment. But oftentimes, both of them are interested in good entertainment. Both of them want a great bar so everybody can have a great time. So seeing those things in the beginning help you. And also creating a sense of unity as a couple, because you might have to battle mother-in-laws, future family members, and you kind of want to have a united front.
Yeah.
Because that united front is really going to let you be a lot less stressed on that day.
Yeah. That's a good tip of advice.
Yes, that's how we start everything. Because let me tell you. And I believe a lot in doing things with intention. And I think what better way to set that up than setting your intentions from the very beginning, and you're doing so by putting them pen and paper.
It's so true.
Yeah.
I love this. What else? Do we want to do anything? Like, I know we talked about doing something for the community newspaper audience that's listening and is looking to perhaps plan an event. If you reach out to Maggie at Inspired Events Miami, we can offer community newspapers a free planning.
Absolutely. A free planning consultation. If they go to the website, they'll find a link to my calendar. And I'm more than happy to sit with them. And if they come in with that priority list in hand, even better, because we can definitely kind of set the path for them as to what their next steps would be. Maybe give them some tips or some ideas. If they already have a venue, could be a venue we've worked at in the past, give them ideas of what are cool things that we've done there, unique, interesting little tidbits here and there to guide them along the process.
So be sure to mention community newspapers. Come with your list in hand, your top 10, and mention us, and you'll get a free wedding consultation, which is valued at like $500 because typically
time is value.
Yeah, it's a lot of value. So thank you for doing that for our audience.
Our pleasure. Absolutely. Anything that we can always do to give back to the community, that's something that I feel very passionate about. I come from the nonprofit world. So that's where my career got started many, many moons ago. Okay. So anytime I can give something back to the community, I'm more than happy to do
Thank
so.
you.
My pleasure.
So at the end of my segments, I kind of like to ask some fire questions. Sure. And we're all about promoting local community here. What is your favorite, and we can give a shout out to some of our favorite local things. Okay. Favorite local restaurant?
Wow, that's a loaded question.
And if you have more than one, that's okay.
So I love breakfast. So I live in the Gables, and I kind of do a lot of walking everywhere around there. Yeah. So I love to do breakfast at Graciano's Market.
Oh.
I find that their breakfast is delicious.
I've never been there.
And it's super affordable for what you're getting.
Okay.
And you're going to see that a lot of people just go with their laptops, sit there, and breakfast turns to lunch.
Yes.
But it's a great place to go and have breakfast meetings and sort of enjoy a nice morning.
Graziano's for breakfast.
Yes.
Okay.
And for lunch, I love sweet greens, which is a new addition to Giralda, and rice.
Yes.
Those are probably my two favorites and my two go-tos for lunch. Definitely. I spend a lot of time at the Galliano Cigar Bar.
Galliano Cigar Bar.
It's actually right across the street from Graziano's.
Okay.
I would say if somebody wants to find me, they'll know exactly where I am at all times. I go there with my boyfriend and a group of friends, and it's a great kind of everyone there knows each other. The guys smoke a cigar, have a drink, you hang out, you talk. But it's not just men. People
Yeah.
go in couples, especially on Saturdays. Sometimes they have live music. So it's a great place to go and hang out.
Mm.
And I think dinner, I love Mame
Mm.
at the Thesis
I've
Hotel.
been
Their
there.
food is delicious.
It
He
is.
actually used to be a chef in the Keys at,
Oh.
I think, Chica Lodge.
Oh, really?
And then he opened a restaurant in downtown Daylands, Guy. And now Mame is wonderful.
I didn't know that.
Their food is delicious.
Yeah.
And it's a very cool, hip vibe. It's
It
pretty.
is.
It's a
It
pretty
is.
place to go.
It is.
And I think to relax and hang out, the Biltmore is
Can't beat it.
can't beat taking your laptop, sitting by the pool.
No.
That restaurant they have there is great, and supporting my local community is always just very important. I grew up here, so anything I can do is important.
I always love asking these questions. One, because this is how we learn, by sharing what you love. It's why I do this too. It's just, and I love supporting local community. It's how, if anyone else is watching, I didn't know about Galliano's, and
the cigar bar is very cool.
Yeah.
You gotta try.
I didn't know Graziano's did breakfast either. So
it's the market, because they also have the restaurant.
Yeah.
So it's the market side. And they have a fantastic breakfast.
Yeah. Do you have like a place here in Miami that's like your like a best kept secret that no one knows about, that you're like, when you go to, you're like, how does nobody know about this?
So there is actually a little restaurant in downtown.
Uh-huh.
It's called Soya e Pomodoro.
Oh.
And it's inside what used to be, I think, a bank, or used to be a lobby of a bank, I believe.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't have air conditioning.
Oh.
So the summer's a little challenging. I mean, they have fans, but it's so cool and off the beaten path. They have live music. Soya e Pomodoro.
I think I went there one time years ago.
I don't know if it survived the pandemic.
Uh-huh.
But prior to
it had
been around 20 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
Their food is very authentic Italian.
It is.
Their servers come from Italy. Like a lot of them speak only Italian.
Oh.
And it's just so interesting and so different.
I'm so glad I mean, I went there a long, it must have been 10 years ago. I was doing something downtown. Maybe I was at the Guffman Theater, and then because it's right by there. Mm-hmm. And then I think we walked over there, and I remember thinking, this place is so cool.
It is. It's so different.
It's different.
Yeah.
It is. Maggie, thanks so much for coming.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me and kind of just trying to do all we can to promote community.
Yes. And if you're planning an event here in Miami, it doesn't have to be just wedding, even though you do a lot of wedding planning, but any type of event, even a grazing box.
Or table. We do a lot of baptisms and communions with grazing tables. We have clients that recently we just did a baptism for a little boy that we did the parents' wedding.
Oh.
And now we did the little boy's baptism, and we're a beautiful grazing table. So yeah, we love that.
Yeah.
Because we see it,
evolve.
We're part of our couple's lives forever.
That's awesome. So, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that point that you are part of those, like you grow with them.
Yes. And I see so many couples that, after so many years that I've been doing this, oh my God, I did your wedding and your wedding. And you see them evolve, and you're like, oh, look at the babies. Now a child, in elementary school, and you realize how old you are. So it's good and bad. But at least you know what? You're still in the business, right?
Yes.
And you've weathered so many storms.
Yes, yes. So if you're looking to plan an event here in Miami, look no further to Maggie, Inspired Events. We were going to, can we show her website real quick, Tommy? We wanted to show you just so you can see some images of things that they've done. And we're going to just click over through the gallery. I mean, just beautiful stuff. Yeah. And all of this is on her website, inspiredeventsmiami.com. And she's also on Instagram. And as you can see, Maggie's been in the business forever. Thank you again for
Thank
coming
you so
here,
much for
Maggie.
having us.
I
We
really appreciate it. And if you mention community newspapers, you will, and come with your list so you can really take advantage. You'll get a free wedding consultation, which is a really great value. Thanks again, Maggie.
Thank you.
Until next week, we'll see you again. Thanks for being on the Women to Women show, where we promote women in business. Bye-bye. See you next